Alright, welcome to today's explainer. We are diving straight into the 2026 meta of GTA Online to make sure you're actually making the smartest possible investments with your hard-earned GTA dollars. I mean, in a game that's literally always evolving and dropping new vehicles, figuring out how to build the perfect garage, it can feel completely overwhelming. But today, we're going to organize all that chaos and clarify exactly where your money needs to go.
So what is the best car to buy in GTA Online in 2026? Now, I want to be super clear right off the bat, we are not just looking for the most expensive vanity project here, or, the flashiest ride to just park outside the Diamond Casino. Because let's be real, a massive price tag definitely doesn't always equal maximum value.
Instead, we're breaking down the rides actually worth your cash based on three core pillars: insane speed, great handling, and incredibly useful upgrades. If a car doesn't deliver on those fronts, it didn't even make the cut. We're going to count down from our foundation vehicles all the way up to the very top. And honestly, let me just tease you right now, the number one pick is absolutely ridiculous.
Section 1. Essential Utility and PvE. The Foundation. Okay, so let's dive into this by starting with a fundamental building block of literally any smart player's garage. Because before you worry about breaking land speed records, you actually need a vehicle that helps you survive and, make money.
Coming in at number 7, we have an absolute undisputed GTA Online legend, the Armored Kuruma. I mean, even in 2026, this thing holds such a special place in the game's ecosystem. Let's be totally honest with ourselves here. We all probably bought our very first high-end apartment using the money we made safely locked inside one of these bad boys.
It's all about pure utility with this one. The Armored Kuruma is definitely, for sure, not the fastest car on our list. Actually, scratch that, it's pretty slow compared to the rest. But its biggest advantage is that unparalleled protection from gunfire. When you're out there fighting NPCs, that protection makes your missions, your heist setups, and just your general PvE grinding significantly easier. If you're a newer player looking for a practical workhorse, this is still one of the absolute smartest purchases you can make to start building your empire.
Moving on to Section 2, the non-HSW speedsters, pure street speed. Let's see how our foundation builds into this next category. Cars that deliver serious pure street speed without needing a Haas Special Works or HSW conversion.
We've got a really fantastic matchup of generations here. We're looking at legacy speed versus the modern meta. On one hand, we have our number 6 pick, the older but incredibly reliable Ocelot Pariah, and going up against it is our number 5 pick, the modern 2026 meta standard, the Grotti Cartuccia GT.
The speed gap that has formed over the years is just wild. The Pariah has been a total powerhouse for a long time, right? Delivering really solid, straightforward performance with a top speed of around 136 miles per hour. But enter the Cartuccia GT. When this newer machine dropped in 2026, it immediately shoved the older cars down the rankings, pushing roughly 139 miles per hour when fully upgraded. For players who don't have access to HSW or who just want top-tier performance straight out of a conventional build, the Cartuccia GT is basically a must-buy.
Next up is Section 3, Weaponized and Balanced Performers, the Tactical Edge. All right, let's raise the stakes a bit. We're transitioning now into highly specialized tactical performance vehicles where raw speed finally meets combat functionality and superior handling. Coming in at number 4 is something much more aggressive, the Pegassi Weaponized Ignis. This isn't just another flashy supercar. It's honestly one of the coolest multi-purpose performance cars in the entire game. It mixes serious HSW-eligible performance, on the supported versions of course, with highly lethal weaponized functionality. It just gives you this tactical edge that an ordinary supercar literally cannot match. But hey, before we reveal the top 3, I want you to consider this quote. A ridiculously fast car becomes much less useful when you're constantly losing control through corners. We've all been there, right? You buy an absolute rocket ship of a car, and you end up spending more time crashing into lampposts than actually driving the thing. Outright top speed is basically meaningless if you can't actually keep the car on the asphalt.
And that perfectly introduces our number 3 pick, the Übermacht Niobe. This beautiful piece of machinery is the direct answer to that exact handling problem we just talked about.
The really crucial takeaway with the Niobe is that it gives you an incredibly balanced HSW choice, instead of just offering straight-line speed. Yes, you get those elite top speed capabilities of an HSW performance car, but the true game changer here is the manageable handling. It gives you vastly better control through tight corners. It really stands out as a serious, top-tier alternative for players who want to go fast, but, actually want to stay in control of their vehicle while doing it.
All right, Section 4.
the ultimate speed kings, untamed HSW titans. Now we have finally reached the climax of our explainer. We are looking at the two absolute fastest, most unhinged monsters on the road.
Taking the number 2 spot is the Itali GTO Stinger TT. With those HSW modifications equipped, this thing transforms into an absolute monster. We're talking about a top speed that can reach roughly 168.5 miles per hour. That comfortably places it among the fastest cars you can possibly own in the game today.
But sheer speed isn't its only party trick, and that's exactly why it ranks so incredibly high. The Stinger TT can access Imani Tech. For those who don't know, Imani Tech provides specialized vehicle modifications offering extreme defensive utility and versatility that go way beyond your standard racing upgrades. This makes the Stinger TT a much more practical daily driver than a car built purely for the track. You're getting world-class speed, slick style, and incredibly useful defensive technology, all wrapped into one perfect package for your everyday GTA Online chaos.
And finally, we arrive at the #1 overall pick, the undisputed reigning speed king, the Bravado Banshee GTS.
Just think about this insane number for a second, 172.5. With the HSW conversion, the Banshee GTS can hit approximately 172.5 miles per hour. That is a completely, utterly ridiculous number for a normal road car in this game. I mean, the acceleration is absolutely brutal, the straight line speed is unmatched, and honestly, very few cars can even hope to stay with it when you've got enough open road in front of you.
However, let's break down the reality of actually driving this beast, because for all its brutal acceleration and untouchable straight-line speed, there is a pretty major catch. At these extreme speeds, the Banshee GTS is, well, it's not exactly the easiest car to control. It requires very clean, expert driving skills, and it absolutely will punish your mistakes. If your driving isn't super precise, a better handling car like the Niobe we talked about earlier might actually be a lot more useful for you. But if you're looking for sheer, unadulterated HSW speed, the Banshee GTS is the monster you need to beat.
Which brings us to Section 5, your perfect GTA garage, the verdict. Let's wrap this explainer up by bringing all of this data together and perfectly tailoring these choices to your specific playstyle. It's crazy to see just how massive the speed jump is when we look at the big picture here. We go from the standard meta of the Pariah and the Katusha GT kind of hovering in the high 130s, and then we just leap all the way to the top-tier HSW Titan, the Banshee GTS absolutely blowing past 170. It perfectly highlights the different massive tiers of performance available to you right now in 2026.
So here is your definitive buyer's guide to ensure you're making the absolute smartest investments. If you need something for missions and PvE grinding, buy the Armored Kuruma. Simple as that. If you want the absolute best balanced HSW performance, seriously consider the Ubermacht Niobe. If your goal is elite speed combined with top-tier defensive Imani technology, the Itali GTO Stinger TT is basically impossible to ignore. And if you simply want to be the undisputed pure speed king of Los Santos, you go out and buy the Bravado Banshee GTS.
I really hope this breakdown helps you avoid wasting millions on cars that just look pretty but don't actually perform. So, I leave you with this. What is your favorite car in GTA Online? Does it actually stand up to the 2026 meta, or are you driving a total relic? Seriously, think about how your garage aligns with your playstyle right now, because in a game where time is literally money, every single mile per hour counts. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy driving out there.